Hello, and welcome to the Scott Mize Show, a podcast focused on health, diet, bodybuilding, and philosophy. I interview experts, doctors, coaches, and N=1 case studies to answer your questions about improving health, achieving your best physique, and making sustainable progress. We'll cover topics from carnivore and ketogenic diets to bodybuilding to life philosophy and everything in between. Enjoy the show. This episode is brought to you by LMNT Electrolytes. This month, we're switching it up with an exclusive offer that's only for VIP LMNT partners, including Carnivore Cast listeners. You can now receive this free sample pack along with any regular purchase when you use my custom link, which is provided in the show notes or my Instagram link in bio. That's drinklmnt.com/carnivorecast, all one word. And as I said, I'll include the link in the show notes. LMNT Electrolytes are convenient, evidence-based, and delicious, and get yours today to help support the show. Thank you. This is a quick disclaimer before we start the show. This show is for entertainment purposes only. Nothing said here should be taken as medical advice, and please consult with your physician before making any changes to your diet, exercise regime, or medications. Thank you, and on to the show. Dawid Olszewski at trainer_Dawid_Olszewski on Instagram, don't worry, it'll be in the show notes, is a bodybuilder and high-level coach. He's been bodybuilding and coaching bodybuilders and lifestyle clients for over a decade and is incredibly knowledgeable on training, diet, and performance-enhancing drugs. Dawid has an excellent podcast and YouTube channel of his own where he interviews top coaches like Justin Compton, Justin Harris, John Jewett. He posts daily vlogs and goes in depth on his own diet, training, and more. Most of it's in Polish, but I still get a ton out of watching it. And the interviews are mostly in English. And he also has English vlogs as well. Dawid is also a regular on the Fit Nation podcast. Welcome to the show, Dawid.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. And I was never actually been on that podcast you say, so that could be some sort of mistakes.
Oh, really?
But yeah, maybe thinking about David Chahovich.
Oh, yeah. I get you too confused sometimes.
Yeah, so I don't know if you invited the wrong guy.
No. I wanted to talk to you. No. I definitely wanted to talk to you. Don't worry. But I thought he was on. I thought you were on that. Because
I wish, just because I love those guys.
You'd be a great guest. No, you'd be really excellent.
Especially Beef Stew. Sometimes we chat a little, and I love that dude. This is like
he's awesome.
I love him just because he's so fucking true. He's just a beef stew. Even though I know he's not a stew, not a beef, but a stew.
Yeah, no, I'm in a Discord with him, and it's great. He's awesome. So when did you start bodybuilding, and what got you into it?
Oh my God, that's probably will be in 2016. That was my first competition.
Okay.
I did it naturally. I was training about 3 to 4 years at that point, and I've decided to try to compete just because I was following a guy from Poland called Arkadiusz Czerw. And he was a huge inspiration for me. And we have a crew here in Poland called Warszawski Cox. And those guys actually, this is like a Polish 3DMJ, DMGW or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce it. But those guys like popularize natural bodybuilding here in Poland and counting macros and stuff like that. So that was my beginning years. My diet looks tragical back then. I remember I was eating like cottage cheese and chocolate, counting the protein and calories only.
Wow, that's tough. And how many shows have you done since then?
Oh my God. A lot, just because my first competition season was one show back when I was natural. Then I had like a 2 years break, I think, or maybe 1.5 years, something like that. and then I jump over the weight class because I was no longer natural, obviously. So then I competed in 3 shows, I think. Then I have like 2 years break again, I think, and make 11 or 12 shows in one
Wow.
year,
Wow.
back to back. That was the toughest thing I have ever done. At the beginning of the competition season, I coming on the stage, I was not even happy to be there. That was
Yeah.
tragical,
Roman Fritz
but
style.
that was that. Something like that, but in a smallest package. Yeah, and that was that. And then I have again, I think 1 or 1.5 year break. And then I competed in 3 shows, I think. That was the last year.
Okay.
And after 1.5 year of a break, I am coming back to stage this year in less than 2 weeks. So
Awesome. And what are your goals for this year and what shows are you doing?
right now, in 2 weeks, I'm gonna do a regional show just because I have to trying to hit for my pro card, and
Okay.
then I am trying to get the pro card. But it's not like I am counting on that. It's
Okay.
more like I just wanted to try,
Yeah.
just because I am not wanted to tell that I am not ready or something like that. But
Yeah.
you know how it is. You never felt that you are like filling in with those guys. So this is I am more like wanted to try and see how it's gonna end.
Yeah.
But if it's gonna be a good one, maybe I try for another and another and another until I get the card. And if it's gonna be just a big mess, I probably call the day and go back to the off season, make my improvements, and try
Cool.
next year or maybe in a 2 years period.
Yeah. How far away is the pro qualifier from the first show?
The pro qualifier is 2 weeks after my first competition show,
Oh,
so in the
perfect.
4 weeks, yeah.
And I'll just share your profile quickly so folks can see what you look like. I think you're definitely in contention for a pro card. You're absolutely massive and you look really good here. I mean,
Thank
this
you.
picture was wild when I saw it. Like
Yeah,
your leg definition, crazy.
my coach is actually uh, make a fun of me just because he says I've always put the worst picture on Instagram.
Yeah.
All the fun ones I send it to him, and the shittiest one I put on the Instagram. He says.
Yeah. Well, you look fucking phenomenal, man. You should be very proud, and I think you're
Thank
gonna
you,
break some
thank you.
hearts. What has this prep been like for you? How's it going so far?
And it's like I told you just before we hit the record button. This is the probably the easiest one I've have in my life, because
Hmm.
I think this is because I have a new coach. His name is Olszewski.
Yep,
Uh,
Lukey.
yeah, Luki, and he is actually so knowledgeable that he make it easy for me, I think, because over the off season I've put a lot of mass and I was in a decent shape, ate a ton of food, but uh, this like comp is it's let's say like that. I was starting just with a cutting phase. That was not our intention to go to the stage,
Yeah,
but everything gets so well that I've decided to compete. So that's, I think, make a huge difference, because
perfect.
on the first day of the cutting phase, I in my mind was just a mini cut for myself. Yeah, just a mini cut for myself, and then just a little bit more, and a little bit more, and this kind of way we've gone so far that we are 14 days out. So this is
Cool.
why I think it's easiest one.
Yeah. And I think that's exactly what Austin Stout, if you're familiar with him, did with his
Of
last
course.
prep and how he likes to run, at least for himself. It's really cool. I think it's a perfect scenario. Just like things are going great, add a little more drugs, keep going.
I don't even know how many weeks I am dieting right now, but this today is 140 days. So I
Wow.
don't know how many weeks that is, but
20
it's a
weeks.
long time. It's a
Yeah.
long time. Yeah, I like it that way. I like it that way. I
Mm,
like the longer way just because those standards back in the days, 12 weeks or 14 weeks
yeah.
at max is just an overkill, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't like to do it with my guys also. I've always tried to hit with a range of 20 weeks is a perfect, but 16 to 20 weeks is depending on the how good in shape the dude is.
Yeah.
It's like a perfect scenario, I think.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I did. So I competed in my first show ever 2 weeks ago, and it went really well. And I think it was a 17-week prep, but we had like a 4-week quote unquote health phase before that, where I was stripping off some water and I lost a bit of fat there too, and that felt perfect.
Who is your coach, if I may know?
It's Justin Compton.
Okay, Justin. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I don't know why I thought that. Oh my God, I am not gonna recall the name of the guy, but you are interviewing him 7 days ago.
Okay. Paul Barnett,
No, 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 no. Oh my God, the guy I love that
Chris
dude,
Tuttle.
Chris Tuttle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, no, no. I didn't work with Chris. He's great though. I loved interviewing him. Yeah, he's a very good coach. But yeah, Compton took over my prep at like 7 weeks out. And Compton's a guy who likes shorter preps. So we'll see next year whether he tries to get me to do like a 12-week prep or something like that. But no, it worked out well because I actually had COVID for a week and I was actually in the hospital for a week with COVID. That was awful. And then it was my first time using certain orals and I had a horrible reaction to Halo. Like I started throwing up. I was burping. I was having chronic hiccups. And so that basically ate like a week and a half towards the end of prep. So definitely needed the extra time.
Oh, okay, but I heard that your labs was perfect, so that's okay.
Yeah. Lab work was good, but
Yeah.
digestion was not.
Yeah, this is why you have to check it out. Uh, the best way is to do it in the many weeks before
Yeah.
because if that was your first time with the Halo, that is what could happen, but you never
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Talk about some of your last shows. What have they been like for you? The good, the bad placings. What have you learned from your last prep?
Oh, it's a tough question to be honest, just because that was I am not the best at remembering stuff, so that could be a very hard
Okay.
one. But definitely, I've always lacked the mass, especially on the chest, and I'm still do. So this is like always my main focus, and this is why I think, or over this years, I've never been a very successful. Don't get me wrong. I couple of times I win overalls and stuff like that, but never anything that was huge. So yeah, I'm not yet winning anything that is very important for me. So it's hard for me to even call myself a bodybuilder
Well, I
yet.
I think you're definitely a bodybuilder. If you're not a bodybuilder, I'm definitely not a bodybuilder. Um, and how hard have you had to like diet and cardio? How low has your food gotten, and how high has your cardio gotten?
Back in the days or right now?
Yeah, now or in previous preps too.
I've always been a kind of guy that have to eat a lot on the off season, and then to get really shredded, I've eat like a bikini chick. To be honest, I've always doing like at least 60 minutes of cardio every day and eats maybe 150 to 200 carbs
Wow.
on the last 4 to 5 weeks. But
Crazy.
this time it's different. I am doing 6 times 60 minutes cardio. Right now it's 6 times 45 minutes. Started from today,
Okay.
tomorrow to yesterday, to be honest. And I've eat like a 280 grams of carbs, 300 grams of protein, and 10 grams of fats.
Yeah.
I've counted only the added
Yeah.
fats and direct sources, so it is
Makes sense.
probably more proteins, like a almost 400 protein if you
Yeah.
counted everything. So this is a huge amount for me. This is why I
Yeah.
am not even hungry. For
Wow.
me, it's a lot of food. And in the off season, on my high days, I was getting to 1,000 grams of carbs.
Wow.
So this is the difference. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. During my prep, I have a very fast metabolism. So most of it, I wasn't doing any cardio, just steps. And I had 1 to 3 days a week of 1,000 grams of carbs refeed.
Oh yeah.
And the lowest my food ever got was like 3,200 calories. Uh,
Oh my
yeah.
God.
Yeah.
How much do you weigh?
I was 195 on show day.
Oh,
Yeah. And now I'm 2 weeks post show. I'm already at like 850 grams of carbs a day, every day. So yeah,
Justin
it's,
likes his rebounds. Yeah.
yeah, we're rebounding hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is the smartest way to get through this period, just because there's no fucking way you're gonna get fat. There's
Yeah.
no way. And Justin's gonna just lead you straight through a new gains. So I think
Yeah.
that this
I'm
is
very
the
excited.
yeah, perfect scenario.
Yeah. What is your approach to training and how has that changed over the years?
I've always been like a low volume, high intensity guy, but since I've worked with Loki, I've incorporated a lot of volume and intensifier sets and stuff like
Mm,
that, and I think it's making a difference. Don't get me wrong. I've always gonna believe that the best way to put a huge amount of mass is doing it on my previous way, so low volume, high
yeah.
intensity. Just because if you get too much into intensifiers and into volume, you kind of get a lot of shitty sets,
Mm,
especially if people can't recognize how close they are to failure and stuff like that. So they are doing like sub maximum sets
yeah.
and stuff like that. And it's kind of counterproductive, I think. So if I've always been in love with low volume, high intensity, but right now I am right before the competition. So my my training is more instinctive.
Mm,
I've also like 8 weeks before I've injured my shoulder. I have a little bit tear on my subscap, so I have to change everything and reduce weights a lot and stuff like that. So that was the huge change for me. That was the day that everything's changed. But right now it's everything's healed,
good.
and I get to groove, but my strength is still on the lower side.
Yeah. Absolutely. I like high intensity. And like you said, I do think there is a trade off where it's different for every individual, but most people can't do both high intensity and high volume without the
No,
quality degrading.
you have to have a surname competent to do it like
Yeah,
that.
or Roman.
Or Roman, yeah.
Yeah. What has working with Lukey been like? How did you choose him as a coach? And what are some of the bigger changes he made in terms of your training, diet, and PEDs?
You see, Luki is someone that I followed since the beginning of my uh, almost training days.
Wow.
Maybe after 2 years, 3 years of working out, I've find Luki on the internet because he was actually a friend of my coach back then, and uh, I just start to consume everything he put on the internet because he was, for me, it always seems to be a logical way of thinking. He's very thought through, and he has like the easiest way of doing everything that you can imagine. So
Mm,
this is something that's worked very well with me because over the years I have three coaches. So Adam Zucker was my first coach, and he basically made me. But then I was doing myself for maybe my, half of the off season and almost to the 2 weeks out of my last competition season. And I started with a Dominic Mutasio.
okay.
And Dominic was some, he has very unique way of doing things.
Yeah.
And so it's so complex, and you have like a meal plan that's changing every couple of days, and everything has to be like regimented, but in a way that it's sometimes very hard to to make, especially here in Poland, because we have a different uh, products here, and
Yeah.
sometimes I just can buy something, and we have a problem that because he was counting the rice after the cooking, and so I was doing the same, but his way of counting it was like 100 grams of rice was 30 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
But I was adding a lot of water to my rice, and I've always make it that way. So
Yeah.
on the last 2 weeks of my comp prep, I was eating not 60 grams of carbs per meal, but 50 grams of carbs.
Uh,
So that was like a one and less than half of I would suppose to. So
wow.
that's why I was almost ready at 97 kilos, and I was 92 on stage, looking like raisins.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah, but that was my fault.
Yeah. And what are some of the bigger changes Lukey has made with regards to your training, diet, and PEDs, like things you hadn't done previously or things he reinforced for you?
To changes to the diets, probably nothing, just because uh, I've always followed his way of dieting. So
Yeah.
it was basically the same. He's just make me move a lot in the off season, which I
Mm,
was never incorporate back in the days. So this is why I can eat a lot more than I could in the last preps.
yeah.
So yeah, so that was the huge difference for me, making counting my steps basically.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the training, like I said before, Luki likes his intensifier sets and a little bit more of the volume and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of intensifier sets and stuff like that. So that was the hugest difference for me. And when it comes to PED, actually nothing, I think. Luki is very basic when it comes to that.
Okay.
He just don't like to overthink because it's just not necessary. So
Right.
he is very, very like regimented in a way that if something works, just make it roll. Just you don't have to do changes every week because of I don't know why. Some
Yeah.
people make just changes just to look it cool that your coach is doing something every week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on the nutrition side, seems like you like fairly high protein. Is that correct? Both in off season and pre-contest?
Depends on what do you think about protein, because for me 3.5 grams per kilo, it's not a high
Yeah.
protein, it's like a moderate.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's correct.
I've always in the range of 3.5 to 4 grams of protein. I was always like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. I think that that's pretty logical. And then on carbs, do you like to both for yourself and clients incorporate carb cycling? And is that only in pre-contest or also in the off season?
Definitely. I think that the carb cycling is the best way to keep your insulin sensitivity running through whole of season, to
Okay.
make a break for your digestive system, for your
Yeah.
pancreas, and make you kind of hungry a little bit on the rest days, which helps a lot with your appetite on the high days and training days. So this off season, I have 2 high days with long-acting insulin on the breakfasts, and like a regular carb day for every other training days rather than the high days, and 2 rest days in the week that was very low on carbs. So it was like I don't think in a peak off season was 1,000 grams of carbs on a high day, something around 700 to 800 grams on the regular days, and 200 grams of carbs on the low days.
Wow. It's very low. Do you go hypo on the low days when you're in off season?
No.
Okay.
My glycemia is very stable.
Yeah. And do you do added fats on any of those days?
On a basically, I'm doing added fats on every days, but is on a high day is only at 10 grams of fat, so it's only at 20
Wow.
grams of nut butter
Yeah.
before the workouts.
Okay.
On the regular days was maybe 30 grams of added fats, something like that.
Okay.
And on the low days, we basically almost trying to match the calories with the fats. So it was like 85 grams to
Oh
100
wow.
grams of fats added. So basically, it was like 50 grams of protein, 100 grams of carbs, 15 grams of fats with my breakfast. Then was 50 grams of protein, 0 grams of carbs, and 15 grams of fats to the every next meal. And the last meal was 50 grams of protein, 100 grams of carbs, and 10 grams of fats.
Yeah. Makes sense. And what do you think about I know you asked a question about this, the like Matt Jansen approach of higher added fats both in the off season and prep?
I think that Matt is actually adding fats, but not to every guys,
Okay.
because I think he is more like what the person needs. I know that Brad Wilkin have a lot of fats in his
Yeah.
diet because his metabolism is just through the roof.
Yeah.
He eats like 7 to 8 thousand calories or something like that, and
Right.
cheat meals almost every day and stuff like that. This is not. I don't think it's a great way.
Yeah.
Just because this is not when it comes to the lipids, it's actually not that good to have so many fats in your diet, I think, especially when you're doing cheat meals and stuff like that. Just because you have to realize how the cholesterols play a huge role in your body, especially when you are
Sure.
on PEDs, because the cholesterol is something that's is used to produce your androgens. And if
Yep.
you giving your body androgens from the outside, the body is actually not have to use as many cholesterol as we wanted to. So that's why your lipid profile is sometimes screwed and you
Yeah.
have like a high cholesterol. And this is from the added fats in the diet, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. That's the main benefit of fats. Um, and I think it can, at least for me, some people say, oh, you add fats in the off season because your food gets so high and it's smaller food volume. But for me, it slows down my digestion so much that
Yeah.
I'd rather just eat more carbs.
Don't get me wrong, I love fats.
Yeah.
Right now, especially when I am 30 days
Craving
before the
them.
comp. Yeah, this is like I don't know why, but if I could eat something, the oatmeal with whey and nut butter, it's I would rather eat that than pizza, to be honest. This is how much I love it. But I don't think it's a good way of thinking when it comes to the athletes because we have to see the bigger picture. I know it's that maybe it's a less volume of food and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
your body is very good at processing food, to be honest. So you're probably not gonna die if you eat like 150 grams of rice more, and your lipids gonna thank you for that. So
Yeah.
I think that's the better way. Or even add something like maybe bagel or carbs that's easier to digest and easy to eat. That would be probably a better choice than added some fats. But
Yeah. I
fats
agree.
are important too. Don't get me wrong, but if you are eating 1,000 grams of carbs, 300 to 400 grams of protein, you're gonna have a lot of fats with that,
Yeah.
and you're probably gonna supplements with omega-3, krill oil, and stuff like that. So this is like a maybe 10, 15 grams of fat extra. So at the end of the day, you have like a 60 to 80 grams of fats. So I don't think that you have to add on top of that.
I agree. I agree. Now, changing topics a little bit to, as you like to say, the fun stuff, PEDs. What are your favorite compounds for off season and for prep?
Testosterone, I think.
Okay.
I don't think that is anything more beneficial than tests, to be
Yeah. Good
honest.
answer.
I know that people love to think in a chart way that this compound is 5 to 4 to 10,000 more anabolic or androgenic than testosterone and stuff like that. But testosterone is actually a identical hormone, and I think that is the best way to build muscle is as much test as you can tolerate,
Mhm.
plus maybe EQ. That's my probably favorite, or and a little bit of nandrolone, which probably would be NPP, just because the DECA is a longer acting, and some people with when they have some problems, it's gonna be hard to get it out. But
Yeah.
I don't see that many problems with nandrolones, to be honest, and with EQ. I think that's mostly overrated.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
overblown.
yeah, people just are searching for the answer why they're feeling sluggish and stuff like that. But if you are 260 to 80 to 300 pounds on the off season, your sleeps is shit probably because you're snoring as fuck. You're all you're like bloated all day just because your food intake is so high and stuff like that. So you probably have a problem to even put on your shoes.
Yeah.
And looking for a reason in the PEDs is not the way.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I agree. That's very well said. And Primo and Masteron, why don't you like them?
I will not say I don't like them, but I I don't know why. I just never seen anybody build a huge ton of muscle on Primo or Masteron. I know that the people like John Jewett
Sure.
and those others guys like to think that way, and it's maybe it's even right, but I don't see that huge jumps in a skeletal weight and muscular weight with the guys who are using like a safer approach. And
Yeah.
I don't even think that bombarding yourself with a ton of DHT derivative it's so healthy. I would much rather just put some more tests and maybe some AI on the top. Like you know what I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I think that's approach is tried and true. And that's what bodybuilders have done for years and years. And the biggest guys are doing.
Yeah,
And what about GH? How do you like to use it and how do you like to time it?
I think that the best way of utilizing GH in the off season is give your whole daily dose right before the workout. Maybe not right before, but like at 30 minutes before the meal, just because probably after the meal you're given an insulin, which is actually get well together with the GH,
Yeah.
and your like IGF GH serum peak would be probably then at the end of your workout.
Yeah.
So
It's
you're
like 4 to
probably
6 hours after.
yeah, so you're probably gonna finish your training and you'll be on a peak of GH, and then you doing the insulin again probably with the post workout meal, and that would be the best.
Yeah.
But on the cutting phase, I like to split the GH because I believe that GH and his like a lipolytic uh, um, I don't know how to say it, but you get me, yeah.
Yeah.
We've helped with like releasing the free fatty acids into your bloodstream, so it's
Yeah.
probably gonna help you with utilize a little bit more fat during the day. It is probably not something that you have to be so concerned because I think that people just stress too much on those things. To be honest, I don't believe in a correct way of using GH. You probably be either way. Whenever you should, you'll be okay because we are using it year round. So we are either way we're gonna have like a peak IGF production sometimes during the space of I don't know 5, 10, 12, 15 years of using it. So it probably doesn't matter when you're
Yeah.
gonna put it, but I like to do it that way.
Yeah. That's smart. Makes a lot of sense. And what about LR3? What's your experience been like with it? Do you think it's worth it?
This off season, that was the first time I was using it, and it's hard to tell if it's work or not because this is just not enough time.
Yeah.
Probably I could set something in 3 to 4 years of using it, but definitely I felt being crazy full, crazy full. To be honest, on the leg days after, because I was cycling it 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks, and then 4 to 5 weeks off. And at the end of this 4 or 5 weeks period when I was like um, loaded with this, my pumps was almost unbearable. Like it was hurting.
Yeah.
That was crazy. Yeah, that was, so I think that it was legit one, but to be honest, this is more like a cell proliferation thing. So to see the real difference, I probably should use it for a couple of years, and then I could decide that if it's worked or not.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. Um, how about insulin? How do you like to use it during both prep and off season?
On a prep and off season is actually the same.
Okay.
Before and after training, this is the only times in the days that I think it's have his place. So that would be my answer. And when it comes to the long acting, only 1 to maybe 2 times a week during the high days.
Yeah.
Especially if you have a lagging body part, that will be the days that will be utilized.
Makes sense. Yeah. Humalog, I think, just makes so much more sense for bodybuilders than.
Yeah, or Novo Rapid, just because the Novo Rapid is actually have a little bit more like
IGF.
like IGF production with the GH is a little bit better.
Agreed. And what about ancillaries like telmisartan, metformin, and any others you use?
I've used it only if needed, if it's
Okay.
needed. I've
Yeah.
used it to be telmisartan. I used year round because I have my like blood pressure issues that runs in my family, so I have to use it. So this is like a doctor prescription thing
Yeah.
for me, and as well as Ebivol. So it's like an R&B and I have like a R&B and a beta blocker just to slow down my heartbeats because it's also a little bit higher, and just to stop a little bit for the left ventricle hypertrophy.
Which
But
beta blocker do you use?
yeah, I've used Ebivol and
Okay.
I've used telmisartan. This is the only two
Okay.
things I use. And when it comes to metformin, I am not a fan
Okay.
because many people have a problems with that. But
Yeah.
if people need it, I've sometimes I utilize like a 5 to 1.5 grams, not 5 grams, but 500 milligrams to
Yeah.
maximum 1.5. But this is like a only when it's needed. And to be honest, I've always tend to go into with if I have a choice with berberine because it's like a similar pathways of working and gets less people on the digestive problem.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't do metformin. It definitely
Me neither.
my digestion.
After couple days, my diarrhea is
Yeah. It's
it's
intense.
on.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Um, when do you think you'll be done with bodybuilding?
No, I think never. No,
Great answer.
to be honest, I was not thinking about it so much because for me right now, to be honest, I passion more about progress than competing itself.
Hmm.
It's maybe sucks a little bit because when I was starting, I feel that fire in me that I wanted to go on stage, and right now I don't feel it that much.
Yeah.
But I've always said I wanted to have a pro level physique.
Yeah.
I don't need the card. I don't
Yeah.
care. The card is here. That's my
Yeah.
wife card. But to be honest, I would rather look like a pro than have a pro card,
Yeah.
because I know that I'm never gonna be a great pro. Don't, this is obvious. But if Stuart Sutherland is mediocre pro, I could be at max a shitty one. So so yeah, that's my thought process. So my goal is to be a heavy, open bodybuilder, and I don't care if it's gonna be in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. As long as I'm healthy, I'm feeling good, I have everything under my control with my heart, with my labs and stuff like that. I'm just living the bodybuilding lifestyle and making a fun of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think that's a great perspective. I think you're selling yourself short a bit, but you're very humble. But I think it's great to focus on the process, and I think that's the only way you last in the sport is being obsessed with progress and loving the everyday.
Yeah, of course.
What scares you the most about bodybuilding with regards to health? Like for me, it's the neurological side effects. Alzheimer's runs in my family. So I definitely don't want to do anything to exacerbate that. But what is the most scary health side effect of bodybuilding for you?
I think the cancer, and I know that 10 minutes before I telling you about using an IGF and GH, but in my family, the cancer is run a lot.
Yeah.
All my grandfather have like 4 brothers, and everyone, including him, dies from cancer.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, so I have like a huge like possibilities on that, but it's not something that concern me as much, because I don't think that thinking about that stuff is beneficial in any sort of way. You're supposed to trying to be as healthy as you can, no matter what. So I don't trying to not stress so much about it, because I think it's just taking out the fun part, which is just sometimes pushing to the limits.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all gonna die. You have to live
Yeah,
your life.
I am not gonna lie. I would rather to die earlier and happier
Yeah.
than being 100 years old and misery as fuck. So
Yeah. I think a lot of people are afraid to admit that or make that choice.
yeah, you see, you start to thinking about it, this stuff after a certain age, I think,
Yeah.
because I would be lying if I say that I am not thinking about that stuff. But
Sure.
like I said, this is not something that's concerned me that much, because I just love bodybuilding. I just love it. So I can't imagine to stop like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I love it so much. I started later in life. I'm 31 now. I only started really focusing on it a few years ago, but I want to do it for a long time.
Yeah. So keep it good way with Justin, and you're
Yeah.
probably gonna be in shock how fast you're gonna grow.
Yeah. We'll see. Well, this has been fantastic, Dawid. Thank you so much for coming on. I learned a lot from you, and I continue to learn from you. And I'm really excited for your prep and to see how you do at your shows.
Thank you so much.
Where can people find you? And I'll have links to everything in the show notes as well.
Oh, probably the easiest way is gonna be on Instagram or on
Okay.
my website, which was dawidolszewski.com.
Okay.
But the website is in Polish, so sorry for that, but you can probably translate it.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, and my YouTube channel and Instagram. That would
Cool.
be the easiest way to get to me.
Awesome. I'll have links to all of that. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to the show. You can find The Scott Mize Show on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Please leave a comment,
like, review, or share the podcast with your friends or followers. It helps more people find the show.